is going away. It is fading fast. And FaZe, they stormed through Gen G. Yes, it got close, but overall, FaZe were in control of those maps. FaZe were in absolute control, while Gen G were always on the back foot trying to fight forward. And they were unable to do so. This is a Gen G team that has been extremely strong throughout the course of Valorant, and this FaZe roster came in and gave them a good old slap. So I'm thinking FaZe should have this.
Exactly, and I think, you know, judging back that, or going back rather, to that other series, you saw Haven was actually played as the first map, and it was incredibly dominant, incredibly one-sided for FaZe. I think they're off to a, I want to say, 9-1 start at the beginning of it, so, I mean, all things considered, I think FaZe will have this one's in the bag, but that doesn't mean that we're just going to completely count out Moon Raccoons. They still do have a very skilled set of players on their roster. You saw them with some pretty notable results just recently, taking down, oh my god, I'm already blanking on it. How am I blanking on this already, Boggs? I was literally just watching it on stream. I know yesterday they took down Time In, and then on Tanner Metro's stream, which is currently going on, who did they just face against?
Moon Raccoons just beat Mamba Mode.
Mamba Mode, thank you, I'm so sorry.
And then Mr. Vaughn Gaming later on today, or yesterday, earlier on, so...
I think that's what I was getting confused by, but you know, taking down some pretty middle of the line teams. FaZe have been definitely the more impressive though, because as you mentioned, taking down Gen G. As we head into this first round though,
too.
Beast Coast as well. Yeah, they, again, just notable results all around the board here. But heading into this first round, I want to keep a quick eye on FaZe as they look to push in here, because if you notice, the CT setup from MR is really minimal. They're not keeping that much situated over towards C, and when they do, they'll strike at the perfect time, finding 3 kills, 4 once Profi gets online. But really, that was just Moon Raccoons being able to hold back, play retake at their own pace. And I'm sorry, I was going to try to pivot it back over to you, but that round ended basically before there was any chance of doing that.
I mean, Moon Raccoons really didn't even allow it to be a retake scenario. They just took the site. The spike didn't allow it to go down, and it was just a full-on onslaught. A lot of information thanks to Rebo's Cypher work, the tripwires, the cages going through, and that just sprung the whole rotation through. And FaZe, they tried to go for a B push, or a C push rather, and it just got obliterated. The aim was won by Moon Raccoons, and FaZe had no answer back except for ZachaREEE, the last alive, with a couple fading, jumping classic shots. And that's kind of just been how FaZe have been throughout this tournament too, is hitting a lot of jumping classic shots. I expect to see a lot of that coming through today, not only on pistol rounds, but even on gun rounds and say a 4v1 or a 3v1 situation. They'll go for those style points. They don't care about it, but here comes Rebo. Dark cover has faded. Information gained. First kill gleaned as well. More damage dealt as Rebo's going to continue to charge back through. Rawkus gets that spike down on the site. The retake will commence again from Moon Raccoons, but Marved has one on the classic to start it off.
And there's also an important factor in the form of Profi, who is sitting over at long. The retake can easily begin just as soon as MR are just about ready for it. The Moon Raccoons, well, not even have to take their time. Kills being offered up to them on a silver platter, and without much hesitation whatsoever, the Moon Raccoons will be able to clean up, sweep away the FaZe members. It's still a pretty notable result, I have to say, though. FaZe getting 2 players as well as that spike planted makes it so they don't go home empty-handed. They're going to have enough money to buy up full rifles, full armor, and then obviously a set of utility for every single member on the FaZe side. So this is where we can actually get into the real meat of this game. A rifle round underway, and Moon Raccoons actually, I'd argue, a little bit on the back foot, considering that they still have a Spectre, or actually 2 Spectres, excuse me, as well as ALEKSANDAR holding onto that Bulldog. So when you look at this artillery head-to-head, it does favor the side of FaZe, just by a slim margin.
It does, but I think it's a bit of the economic gameplay right there from Moon Raccoons. Are trying to keep some money up. That's the problem.
Sure.
They don't have a lot across the entire board of the team, and if they lose this round without saving some of those rifles, I think it'll be a very broken buy in the next one. Profi, though, going to take the right idea, get very aggressive, and tuck into the cubby out C long. That could start something up, but look towards A, though. It's going to come down to Rebo again, trying to lock things down as the Cypher. It's going to come on through. BABYBAY leading that charge up long. ZachaREEE will trade onto Rebo's. Corey fell. BABYBAY, the updraft onto the top of the box, is holding a good angle, but he doesn't reposition, and Temperature keeps the angle. Has the second kill onto ZachaREEE as well. Will get felled by Marved, though, in the end, and now it's a 2v2. Good teleport by Marved under heaven. But the rotation coming in from the Sova could be huge here for Moon Raccoons. Marved still holding. There's no information on where these last two are coming from. Rawkus spots the gun barrel of FIEND. That's going to be the first of two necessary for FaZe to grab this first gun round. The last player moving up short. It's Profi. Has no recon bolt. 15 seconds does not have the time to wait for it to recharge. First aim duel one.
Good.
But Marved is right there for the trade. It's a good bait and switch set up there by FaZe and a good first round on the board. I'm curious now to see the economy for Moon Raccoons because it could be a little rough here, and indeed it is going to be some pretty rough. Actually, not terrible. I thought it was going to be worse. They can get 3 rifles up. They could even get an operator glass cannon on Profi if they wanted to. Don't think that's a... It's not on Profi, it's on FIEND. I was spitballing with that one.
I know, it was a real gamble, but, you know, hey, gambles have to be made, don't they? FaZe is definitely taking a bit of a gamble with this one, too. 2 half armors on ZachaREEE and BABYBAY. Makes it a little bit dodgy, I think is the right word for this one here. Moon Raccoons still sitting in that lead, again by a very slim margin. We'll go ahead and try to press our advantage, but they're not pressing to take fights in these early rounds. So because of that, FaZe look to take long control, and this will be a very fine look for them. There's no contention whatsoever until the fight comes to short. There is some contact being made by ALEKSANDAR, which is going to do him good for 1 kill. Backing off safely, there's no trade available for FaZe, and that's one thing that I was able to praise them for some of their past games, but I wasn't able to praise Profi, excuse me, for just being an absolute legend like that. But I guess, you know, times are changing. I'm going to have to go ahead and get used to this new style of Moon Raccoons who would just pop off. They find themselves in a 5-on-1, made into a 4-on-1, obviously, after Corey gets just the single frag to his name. But, oh my lord, that was beautiful from Profi.
That's a stinger double kill there from Profi out mid too. Catches 2 players relatively close range. That stinger is such a great gun for those sort of ranges right there. And because of the massive casualties taken by FaZe in their first gun round victory, they're going to be relegated to a very light buy here. Stinger for Marved, Sheriff for Rawkus. Nobody else really going to invest here, but the classics can be very deadly in the hands of FaZe, particularly against players like Temperature who don't have full armor, just a half. We'll see what happens, though. FaZe very spread out for a very low economical buy. I'm surprised they're going for such a very passive setup. I guess they just want to try and get the ult orb out for BABYBAY. Actually, that's the blades. Here they go. And now this is looking a little more even. A couple guns picked up for FaZe, and things could turn on their heads. But still, they're going to stall out towards grass and back spawn, not really taking any aggression. Same could be said for Moon Raccoons. Wary of this for now. But I think a lot of this hinges on Rebo's information, too. The Cypher cam keeping a lot of info down towards grass.
Right here.
That's exactly what I was going to say as well. I think Moon Raccoons are going to completely adjust their setup because really at this point they know that the economy for FaZe is shattered. It's not looking great whatsoever. So they're kind of gambling just with the info that they have at the moment. FIEND, I'm actually a bit afraid that he's just going to get caught out guard immediately, but luckily he does manage to stay alive. Hunter's Fury being expended to try to find the kill. FIEND will dodge it, but that's totally fine. This is still already better than what I think FaZe could have expected in a lot of ways. Considering the buy that they have on their hands, being able to have a lead like this is incredible. However, the pistols really struggle in the latter part of rounds like this, and Boggs, I still think Moon Raccoons have a decent chance to get back into this one.
Look at the health. BABYBAY needs that kill. Does get taken down by Rebo. Neural Theft comes in as well, but Corey trades it back very quickly. Still needs more though. Profi, Temperature, all finding frags. It's all down to Corey. 20 health, and not much of a chance here. Temperature holding down spacebar, hops away, grabs the classic kill, and Moon Raccoons will jump to a 4-1 lead. FaZe looking a little quiet right now. Moon Raccoons looking like the better team aim-wise to start things off. And that's contrary to what we've seen from FaZe the entire tournament so far. We've been seeing FaZe just absolutely dominate in the aim duels, run around and frag people, go for those jumping classics in situations like that. But we're seeing Moon Raccoons taking that page out of the FaZe book. And it's good to see somebody challenging FaZe on the individual level right now. If Moon Raccoons can keep this up, I would not be surprised to see them take this series, particularly because FaZe has also had a Haven here on Haven. They've loved this map throughout this tournament.
Exactly. They've been near flawless on it. I mean, losing single-digit number of rounds in almost every single foray that they have had so far. Already, this is a bit of a stunning start because, again, as I mentioned, you've seen 7-1 starts, you've seen 9-1 starts, you've seen 8-0 starts for FaZe. I mean, they've played a lot of Haven, and a lot of the time they have taken this early game. So perhaps a bit of a new leaf being found, and FaZe, as he mentioned just before, Boggs, you know, the aim duels are not quite there. That's a shot that I would bet my house on Marved hitting if he just went ahead and looked back at that Gen G series. But this time, he's down out of the picture entirely in FaZe. Well, that entire look will be on their team too. BABYBAY will try to close the distance, but against that showstopper, I'm not sure if there's all too much Moon Raccoons can even do. BABYBAY might not even need to do anything at all.
Rebo, Rawkus, Temperature, all finding frags, but it ends in a 4v2 in the favor of the Moon Raccoons, making a 4v1. ZachaREEE in another 1vx, and ZachaREEE has been dropped. Rebo with the hat trick on the round. Moon Raccoons up to 5-1. Bit of BM tactical crouching coming in from FIEND in the end there too. Moon Raccoons are feeling it right now, and FaZed anything but. I think FaZe are a bit phased right now. They're looking very, very slow. They're looking very, very shaky. They lack the confidence, the guile that they've had throughout this tournament so far. They lack that killer edge. And unless FaZe can find that some way, Moon Raccoons are going to jump out to a massive lead. And then when you put this team on the defense, if they're winning the aim duels on the attacking side, you better believe they're going to win. Or they're winning on the defense. So I swapped things up real quick there, but if Moon Raccoons are still winning these aim duels like this on the defense, I think they'll do much of the same on the attack, and I think they could even take some very good aggressive plays here on the defense and take out FaZe in those 1v1 duels. Rebo's been very critical for this entire Moon Raccoons team as well. Good paint shell to clear him out, though, and that's going to be a good first pick. Marved with the stinger to start things off. BABYBAY jumping onto site. Doesn't get anything at all. But FaZe do have a player in the back line, so they could open something up this way. Good paranoia comes in as well. That's a great kill from Marv. That's exactly what they needed to get back into this round. But Profi, 2 kills towards Garage, making a third. It's all down to Marv, and Marv's just going to walk right towards Profi. Great little recon bolt there from the aforementioned Sova. And Profi with the quad kill, locking it all down on the C site. That recon bolt was absolutely perfect there. 10-3, 9-6, 4 for Rebo too, or 9-6. I think it's a 9-4, but.
Oh, look at that! They're like doing the belly bumps together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Spawn. That was adorable. FaZe, I can't say that they're going to be having nearly as much fun. But Boggs, one thing I want to mention is that was a bit of a force up. I'd argue probably more of an eco round for FaZe than anything. I was going to say it's probably not likely that we see them change our minds when it comes to, you know, round number 7. But round number 8, I have much higher expectations because rifles are right back in their hand. And judging by the CT shift, you're seeing that Moon Raccoons might be getting a little bit too big for their britches. They're starting to stack 3 players over early. They're having aggression out of Garage, which for some reason actually works out in their favor. And FaZe once again lose Marved, the biggest gun, I'd argue, on this team right off the bat. A terrible look for the FaZe side, as it looks absolutely nothing like we have seen so far. Corey at least is going to drag us back to reality by taking down FIEND, but this is a far cry from the FaZe that we saw in basically every other match this entire qualifier. Hunter's Fury going to be used just to try to break this newfound stalemate. It's not going to find any damage whatsoever. The complete pivot over towards C I think is a really great move, but you see how there's already 2 players from Moon Raccoons at the ready, and Boggs, this could be an absolute slobber knocker.
Here comes Rebo to start things off here. Great trade back from Rawkus. I thought BABYBAY landed that shot for a second there. Great
Beautiful
prediction on towards Rebo, and a great shot there. 3v2 for the first time in a while. FaZe have the advantage. BABYBAY flicks around, tries to catch off the Reyna, but ZachaREEE is there to help out. Temperature goes 1 for 1. And the trades favor FaZe in this round. They will pick up a second on the board, a critical second as well to try and close the gap here just past the halfway point of the first half of Haven. The second round garnered for the attacking squad. FaZe, they need that life. They need to start charging back into this one.
I think it's also really interesting because if you notice, I mean, I've been lucky to have the privilege to watch pretty much every single FaZe game again for this entire qualifier, and yeah, a lot of the time they're just kind of straight up winning their aim fights, but since that's not happening, you see this a bit of a change from FaZe and how they play, where they're relying a lot more on being able to trade each other out, kind of focus on those fundamentals and go for set pieces like what Marved is doing currently. However, they still have a bit of an individual bias, it seems, and Corey, when he goes out exploring for a frag, he will not find anything of note whatsoever. Marved still lurks under window, though, and I don't believe he's actually been spotted yet, but a smoke, a flash will come through, and so will the kill. This time it's for Moon Raccoons, and again, they find themselves on the upper echelon of being able to close this one out, because 5v3, it just can't get any worse for FaZe. They have that Hunter's Fury, but I'm not sure if they exactly want to, I don't know, use it? Really? I mean, unless he can get something a little bit more. BABYBAY is going to help the cause, I suppose, but I'm a little bit concerned about what this means. Moon Raccoons, they're also incredibly strong on their trading game. I don't know. It's really all up in the air for me. I know this is a 2 versus 4, but I really think it could go either way.
It all lies on Rawkus to get this first pick, though.
30 seconds left.
And actually, no. FaZe is just going to fall off. Rawkus not going to contend. BABYBAY trying to find an entry with the operator. Going to take it back towards Garage. Time is running very short. FaZe need to make a move, and quickly. Smoked a wall off the window. Spy cam dart landed. That should just about spell the end here. Temperature jumps through the smoke. Swings in from behind. Rawkus and BABYBAY caught from the back lines. Great play there from Temperature, who's eaten up here in this game. And Moon Raccoons 7-2 over FaZe. There is no weakness right now in this Moon Raccoon squad. I don't see a window for FaZe. They're losing all the duels. They're losing the information game. The Cypher play from Rebo has been insanely critical overall for Moon Raccoons. Profi's been prolific with the Sova darts as well. And really, there's nothing that FaZe have been able to do to answer back. And a lot of that also goes to the lack of winning aim duels.
It looks an awful lot like a Barcelona-esque scoreline right now, I have to say. More pistols upgraded, at least. And they also do have the knives on BABYBAY, who will try to go ahead and rally up a nice little blade storm, but you can tell just in my voice that I'm not really believing in it. This doesn't seem like the same FaZe that we just saw. I'm wondering if fatigue is starting to be a factor for them. They just got off of a grueling series against Gen G, which, while they were the victors, was definitely hard fought at a lot of points. Moon Raccoons are just holding on so well in every single fashion. Look, that standard play out from Rebo, he has it all planned out exactly what he wants to do. The Blade Storm, again, as I mentioned, it's ineffective, and Rebo still holds under heaven. Hell, he's gonna bring 1 kill down, maybe 2! No. Can he seriously get 3? That is absurd! Against what he had a classic. I understand that that was an eco round, Boggs, but he also had pistols. He also had one in his hand, and yet he showed who's better with it.
It's the burst fire.
It's built different.
Everyone's built different these days.
It feels like it.
The Moon Raccoons really are right now.
He's just a special case, isn't he? Rebo having one monster of a game. He's using the hashtag crosshair. And right now, all I can say is that this is hashtag destruction, maybe?
I wouldn't go so far just yet.
I'm trying to work on my social media presence, Bugs.
Good old social.
Aggression out mid, by the way. I want to mention that one. Moon Raccoons still trying to switch things up every single round, even though they're in such a dominant lead.
BABYBAY forming on towards site, not going to get taken down first. Rawkus has fallen to ALEKSANDAR. Rebo chimes in onto BABYBAY. 4v3, man advantage now for the Moon Raccoons, but the bomb of the spike's going to rotate over towards Zay. The neural theft's going to reveal it all, and FIEND has a collateral. Marved and ZachaREEE falling in the third for FIEND. 9-2 potential for a 10-2 for Moon Raccoons. If you would have told me that Moon Raccoons would have a 9-2 lead to start off Haven, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, just on paper, FaZe had every right of winning this, but Moon Raccoons are so insanely impressive at the moment. I'm absolutely loving everything that I'm seeing from them. Profi, you know, sitting middle of the line, has had some incredible round. ALEKSANDAR and FIEND, I feel like I haven't even had to see them do much, and yet they're still just being incredibly valuable assets for their teams. It's very likely that we see double digits in the first half of play against FaZe. On their map pick as well, I should mention. Boggs, it's not going to get any better if things like this continue. Map number 2 will be split, so we are going to be seeing that guaranteed, but who knows how much further we'll go. Who knows if this is even going to get to a map 3, because right now, I cannot find myself believing Profi, again, although he was sitting middle of the line, is right now the only name that I can scream, as he's going to be able to make it only 3 kills. Rebo will snatch away number 4. The jumping classic, it's only going to do them so dirty.
Yeah, Moon Raccoons are having a really good game. They're having a very good Haven so far, but I can't help but feel like they haven't been challenged.
For sure.
They're walking very smoothly around, and I would not be surprised to see them walk into this 4-stack on C and just obliterate it. I don't see a win condition here for FaZe right now. Moon Raccoons are just playing, they're just playing better. It's not much analysis you can really do right now, aside from the fact that Moon Raccoons are winning in every single aspect of the game. They're winning in information, they're winning in picks, they're winning in trades, they're winning in duels. That's all it boils down to.
Right now, well, definitely does feel like it relies on this pistol. There's a reason these things are important, and it's more than just the economical boost that you get. Just any round at this point is what FaZe really need to rely on, and they have such a wonderful recipe for success right here. 4 players located at the C-bomb site, and maybe Moon Raccoons have actually sniffed that out. They know the recipe. They've tasted it before. And so maybe they've had their fill and will decide to go elsewhere on the map. There's still so much of it to explore. Perhaps we'll go through a nice little tour of Garage. Perhaps we'll try to work it over towards B. They have so many options. Thing is, FaZe are ready to adjust. It's just a matter of them hitting their shots. Everybody knows that it's going to be a huge, huge struggle. And that is exactly why. That is absurd. FIEND getting 2 with the Burst Classic just doesn't make it seem real. That never works with my Classic, and possibly it never will. FaZe, they're fighting back tooth and nail, however, and it's not going to exactly be impossible for either team to find their way into a win. But it comes down to a 1v1. And perhaps Rebo could impress me here.
30 seconds left.
Both players in the one-shot range. Rebo 11 health, and ZachaREEE pretty low as well. One shot with the classic will do the job. Rebo catches the timing, has a couple of headshots, not connect. The final one does, and Moon Raccoons now 2 rounds away from victory here. FaZe, they read it well. They read it extremely well. But
it's another round, I suppose.
Moon Raccoons win the duels. That's what it comes down to. FIEND, the double entry was fantastic there. Does damage to onto the final player tucked into the back sight. Bursting with the classic again. FIEND doesn't click left mouse, only right mouse.
These Moon Raccoons are too much for me, man. They are just next level. I've followed a lot of these players. Rebo, I kept my eye on him. Temperature back from the CS days. Same story with ALEKSANDAR. And yet they always continue to impress me. Rebo in particular, I feel like, is having such an incredible map. You know, it's not often that I feel like you see the Cypher leading the kill-death ratio line, I suppose. Scoreboard, maybe is the more appropriate phrase for it. But right now, the only appropriate phrase I have is Marved. You're done. I mean, really, there's just nothing that can be said. Trying to take a long-range duel like that seems like suicide after a while, and Moon Raccoons will not stop. Again, they push it to site. There's nothing that FaZe can do. There really is nothing.
Moon Raccoons are winning everything. They're winning the duels. They're winning. Well, Corey gets one back, and actually a second. Now maybe there's a chance here. Can they do more damage? Another paint shell goes through, but up goes FIEND, and down goes ZachaREEE. As Moon Raccoons look to take charge, Corey's trying to put the team on his back, unable to do so. Moon Raccoons 12-2 now. And the money for FaZe is going to be destitute. Moon Raccoons should waltz their way to a 13-2 victory on Haven. And Moon Raccoons trying to book their spot in the closed qualifier here as well. Winner makes it to the closed qual. Loser has to play a 5th, 6th decider. That will be held after this best of 3. Moon Raccoons, though, looking to take the easy route and the flawless way through the bracket. That'll be huge for the Moon Raccoons, too. The way they've been playing, they certainly deserve it. They are having an absolute whale of a game so far.
Again, I always want to go ahead and stress the point that this was FaZe's choice of map, and again, they have been great on it, but Moon Raccoons are just showing them how it's really done. It's all going to begin with Fiend perhaps just right-clicking his way to a newfound destiny, and that is going to be a massive dubski. 12-2, and it very well might be that 13-2 that you predicted, Boggs. The force-up is non-existent. FaZe have yet to appear in the server whatsoever. Maybe they're treating this one as practice, I don't know. But either way, again, it's just Moon Raccoons showing them what is up. It's unbelievable what they're doing at the moment. But that doesn't mean that it's done. Again, Corey is going to be able to do great work here. Same story with Rawkus with the shock dart, but it's not quite enough. The fundamentals are so strong for Moon Raccoons that they're easily going to be able to trade each other out and put each other onto stable territory. That should be all done and dusted. However, Rawkus has nothing he can do other than offer himself up, join his teammates in the shallow grave that Moon Raccoons have dug. And that is 13-2 on map number 1 in favor of the Moon Raccoons. That is unbelievable.
It was very unbelievable looking at how well FaZe had played up to this point. We've been following FaZe the entire tournament so far, and they looked extremely strong, taking out Beast Coast and Gen G, where Moon Raccoons didn't exactly have the best of times. They had a very close bout with Mamba Mode, then they almost blew, I believe it was a 10-2 lead. So I was going here thinking, okay, FaZe have the momentum, they have the advantage, but Moon Raccoons, they came in, they proved me wrong for sure, and they more than did that. They absolutely obliterated FaZe on map number 1.